Hello, everyone. My name is Lacey. This is John Cena, and you are watching Reptales. All right. So, for weeks, I've been teasing a new friend, and this is my new friend. Her name is John Cena. She is about 7 or 8 years old. She is a Central American boa constrictor, or BCI, boa constrictor imperator, not a boa constrictor constrictor. Those are different things. But yeah, she's like 7 or 8 years old, and I adopted her from Snake Discovery in Minnesota. They were kind enough to bring her down to the St. Louis NARBC, where I picked her up. And let me tell you, this is the largest snake I've ever had. And I mean, I knew she was going to be big. Hold on, I'm getting her tail unstuck. I knew she was going to be big, but she's so big. She's like a solid 6 feet long. She's very sweet. This is the first time I'm having her out of her enclosure. I wanted her to have a lot of time to chill and acclimate and get used to her new surroundings in her new house. Because, you know, since she was in an adoption situation, she was in a rack. And I wanted her to have time to get used to her massive new house, her 6x2x2, which is behind the couch here. Hi. I've been trying to follow a set of guidelines that Kevin McCurley has come up with called Threads of Trust, where it's small interactions, leave on a good note. Hi. Where you have small interactions, leave those interactions on a good note, and then leave the interaction there. Let that be that. And then once that interaction is left on a good note, you leave them be, so that they can understand that you are not a scary predator, you do not want to eat them, and so they come to the understanding that you are a weird tree. And so hopefully I've reached weird tree status. So this is the first time I'm taking her out, and I've had her for maybe 3 weeks. When I brought her home, she was in blue, so she looked a lot darker than I thought, because she's her morph is hypomelanistic. She's going in my blanket. What a doorknob. Look at that. She's exploring. She was really dark, and I thought that was funny for a snake that's hypomelanistic, but she was in blue. And I got her from Ed in a big pillowcase. Brought her, it was just me, so I wasn't able to really film it because she's a hefty girl, and it's kind of hard to film and carry a big snake in 2 hands. So I was bringing her back up to the hotel room, and there are other people in the hotel besides snake people, mind you. So I'm bringing her up to the hotel room, and there's a woman in the elevator, and she goes, "What? Why are you carrying a pillowcase? Wait, did that pillowcase move? What is that?" And I said, "Oh, it's a boa constrictor." And the look on her face, priceless. Oh, and this lady, she was telling me that she's afraid of snakes. And she said, "Oh my gosh, is that safe?" And I said, "Oh, 100%. Now, mind you, I did bring a big tote to bring her home in, so she would have a little more protection than a pillowcase. And I said, "No, it's totally safe. She's likes small spaces. She's a snake. She's cool." And oh, okay. And later in the convention, I did run into that same lady in the elevator, and she said, "I was looking into boa constrictors, and well, they just look beautiful. I'm happy you got such a beautiful new friend." And this woman, who was admittedly terrified of snakes, she just had all she did was have an interaction with a snake in a pillowcase. And now she was looking into boa constrictors herself, which I think is super cool. Girl, you are a mess. You are a mess, child. Hold, please. Oh, she has her tail shoved in the couch. Okay. I don't think I'm getting her tail out of the couch anytime soon. So I get her up to the hotel room, and I'm like, I'm gonna take this girl out of the bag, get a look at her, give her a soak, and she was very sweet. But then she decided that she was a big fan of the lamp in the hotel room, and she decided, I'm gonna wrap myself up around this lamp. And she did. And she did not want to get off that lamp. She was very cozy. I tried to coax her into her box for transport. She wasn't having it. So I ended up having to unplug the lamp and set it in the box, wiggle the lamp until she was like, I don't like this. And she got off the lamp. And then we closed her up, put her in a nice dark spot, made sure I had the room temperature nice and warm so she wouldn't get cold, and I let her be. Her next big adventure was taking her to the car after the event to take her the 4-hour drive home. So I go downstairs, go to check out, and the guy at the desk goes, oh, what's in your box? And I'm like, oh, take a look. So he took a look, and this poor man jumped because it had a clear top so you could see inside. This poor man, oh my God, he was terrified. And he's like, it's huge. I thought it was a turtle or something. Because he'd been asking people all day, well, what'd you get? If he saw like a container, what'd you get? What'd you get? He's like, I thought it was going to be a really big turtle. That's a massive snake. And I said, she sure is. Her name is John Cena. She's wonderful. And, and he asked me some questions, and he was very polite. He was very nice. And he actually called his friend over who loves snakes. And his friend came over, and oh my God, look, she's beautiful. She's hypo. And he said, yeah, she's hypo. Oh my God. And we just had this wonderful conversation about John Cena in a hotel lobby with Hilton employees. They were wonderful. It was fantastic. So Girly Pop, you're already making a difference in the world of people. So we get her in the car, we drive the 4 hours home, and we get home. She was just sleeping, having a great time. So I put her in her new enclosure, and she went straight for her hide first thing. Stayed in her hide for like an hour or two, came out, and then coiled up right outside of her enclosure underneath some of these climbing structures that I have, and she stayed there for like 2 weeks. After she was sitting for a week, and after she had come out of blue, and it had been about a week, I gave her her first meal, and she gladly ate it. My medium rats hadn't come in yet, so I gave her 2 small rats. She ate those gladly, because I think Ed and Emily had given me a feeding card that showed all her meals, and she hadn't eaten since like October. So I'm like, okay, you're probably due for a little meal. Let's give you a snack. Which is something that's cool about boa constrictors, because they are so sedentary, they don't need to eat every week. They don't need to eat every 2 weeks, like Lieutenant Dan. Their metabolisms are so slow. She's probably good with like a medium rat every 3 weeks, once a month, something like that. And she'll be happy. So that way she won't get overweight, and she can stay nice and happy. So she's in her enclosure, she eats her rats, and she proceeds to stay in the same spot for another week. I give her a week to digest her meal, and then we start doing building the threads of trust. And it wasn't me taking her out, me hassling her. I would start it off with me just laying down in front of the cage, just hanging out, just looking at her. The next time I had the glass open, hanging out in front of the cage, not touching her, just hanging out and just looking at her, hopefully letting her get my scent. She's licking, she's sniffing, she's doing snake stuff, just getting my scent. And the next step, I would put my hand in the enclosure, and I just put my hand on her. That was probably a little more stressful. She got a little huffy at me. But I just kept my hand on there, because I don't want her to know that being huffy and puffy is going to get me to go away. That's not going to work. So I would just keep my hand on her, kept my hand on her for maybe a couple minutes, took my hand out, left. Did that for a couple days. And then the next thing, I took my hand and I would just put it underneath her coil. She'd get huffy and puffy, and I would just keep my hand underneath one of her coils, a couple minutes, and leave. Under the coil, a couple minutes, leave. Enter today. So I put my hand under her coil, and she was like, what are you doing? And today was the day we took her out for this. Well, by we, I mean me. One-man pony here. One-man show. But today, we took her out so she can meet all of you. Now, she is such a sweet girl. She's so cool. She was very sweet. I mean, obviously, like, this is her first time out. She's on my face. For boas, it is important to do face training, face desensitization, because boas can be known for being very snappy, very food motivated, and you want to be able to, once you get to know them better, it's okay to let them kind of go up on your face so they can get used to you talking and moving and how you breathe, so to know, oh, this is just a weird tree. They just want to understand their new weird tree. And that's what I'm trying to do right now, is let her understand her new weird tree. While also showing you, not that you can see much of her, because, you know, she's chilling on my arm. Oh, she's coming around. Hi, girlie. Hi. And I don't think I'll be able to show it on camera, but one of the things that's interesting about John is she's got, and Ed told me about this, I'm aware, she has this cyst on her face, in between like her nares, her nostrils, and her eyes. She's got this big cyst, and he was telling me that their vet has taken care of, has done procedures on it like 3 different times to get the cyst to go away. The most recent intervention they did was it was like an implanted slow release antibiotic, and my vet that I talked to said, yep, that's really cool. We'll give her a couple sheds and see how she does. If the cyst doesn't get better, then she's gonna go to my vet, and we're gonna see what we can do about that. But for right now, she's doing great. She's looking at me. But she's doing so good right now. She's doing wonderful. I love it. And of course, Ed had told me that everyone at Snake Discovery was so sad to see her go, because she's just a sweet lady and everyone had fallen in love with her. So of course, I directed them to this channel so they could get updates on their favorite lady, and so they never really have to say goodbye, that they can still see her in her new home with me. Oh, she's on my, you can't see it. I don't want to move my hand, but she's just like resting her head on my hand. She's tongue flicking, long, slow tongue flicks. She's doing so good. Let me see if I can, oh no, let me see if I can move this. Oh, she moved her head. I spooked her. Okay, but anyway, folks, this is John Cena. This is the story of that was the story of how I brought her home. She's so cool. I love her. And if you liked that, like, subscribe, give us a comment, say hello to John, and let me know what kind of content you want to see coming up in the new year. It's Christmas time, folks. And with that, never stop learning, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. See ya.